The Capote, America's forgotten survival coat that built the frontier. Born from wool and necessity. The Capote didn't come from a fashion house or a factory floor. It came from cold ground, wet snow, and long days with no shelter in sight. At its core, a capote was a heavy wool blanket turned into a coat. No waste, no excess, just raw practicality. Wool was the miracle fibre of the frontier. It stayed warm even when wet. It breathed. It resisted sparks from campfires. A single blanket could be worn during the day and wrapped around the body at night. When that blanket gained a hood and sleeves, it became something greater than clothing. It became portable shelter. This wasn't about style. This was about surviving another winter. From blanket to coat. The anatomy of a capote was simple and honestly pretty brilliant. A long wool body that reached the knees or lower. A deep hood that blocked wind and snow. Wide sleeves that allowed movement, layering and work. Often it was tied shut with a sash instead of buttons, because rope never failed in freezing rain. Many capotes were made directly from trade blankets. Some were sewn with minimal cuts so the fabric kept its strength. Others were folded and stitched in ways that allowed repairs in the field. Tear a modern jacket and you've got a problem. Tear a capote and you fix it by firelight. This was frontier engineering at its finest. The hoodie of the wilderness. If the capote feels familiar, that's because its DNA lives on. The hooded sweatshirt, the poncho, the modern parka, they all owe a debt to this one garment. The capote worked as rain gear, winter coat, blanket, and even bedding. Travellers slept in them, hunters wore them on the move, camp builders shrugged them on before dawn and didn't take them off until dark. One item, many jobs. That kind of versatility is gold to anyone who thinks seriously about preparedness. The capote earned its reputation the hard way. It crossed forests, plains, rivers, and frozen lakes. It endured storms that snapped tents and soaked everything else. While leather stiffened and cotton failed, wool kept doing its job. The hood mattered more than people realize. Heat escapes through the head fast. The capote's hood could be pulled tight in wind or left loose when working. No zippers to freeze, no snaps to break, just fabric, gravity and smart design. In a world without backup gear, failure wasn't an option. Here's the uncomfortable truth for modern preppers. In certain conditions, wool still outperforms many synthetics. Wool insulates when wet. It doesn't melt near fire. It resists odour. It can be worn for days without becoming unbearable. A capote could survive sparks, snow, rain, and rough handling that would destroy lightweight modern layers. The frontier didn't have gear closets. People owned fewer items, but those items worked harder. The capote was built for that reality. The capote wasn't just clothing. It was a statement. It said you were ready to move, ready to work, ready to endure. It blurred the line between home and travel, between day and night. That's why it spread across the frontier. Not because it was trendy, but because it solved real problems. It reflected a mindset that valued function over comfort and durability over novelty. That mindset still matters. As factories grew and synthetic fabrics took over, the capote faded from memory. It didn't fit neatly into modern wardrobes. It didn't need marketing. It didn't change every season. But forgetting it came at a cost. We lost touch with a garment designed for real-world hardship, not controlled environments. Today, the capote feels radical again because it reminds us that survival isn't about having more gear. It's about having the right gear. For modern thinkers and preparedness-minded people, the capote offers a lesson worth remembering. Simplicity wins. Multi-use gear matters. Materials chosen by experience beat materials chosen by hype. You don't need to live in the 1800s to appreciate that wisdom. You just need to respect what worked when failure meant freezing. The capote wasn't flashy. It didn't promise comfort. It promised survival. And it delivered. History leaves clues. Some are written in books. Others are stitched into wool. If this episode sparked your curiosity and reminded you that the past still has answers for the future, subscribe, share this story, and keep exploring the forgotten knowledge that once kept people alive when it mattered most.